Jackie Robinson is universally known as the first African American to break the color barrier in Major League Baseball, but what he is less known for is his lifelong commitment to civil rights and his role in paving the way for future leaders of the civil rights movement. Throughout his life, Jackie encountered racism, explored the world of all-white baseball, and exchanged his talent and ideas for the advancement of his race.
The conscience of America is beginning to awaken.
The year was 1947, when one of the greatest and most influential baseball players ever made his Major League Baseball debut. That player was Jackie Robinson, member of the Major League All-Century team, first ballot Hall of Famer, and winner of multiple prestigious awards. Jackie Robinson's entry into Major League Baseball was a monumental accomplishment as he was the first African American ever to play in that league. Robinson's encounter with racism in Major League Baseball was very difficult because the previously all-white league was not ready to accept him. In his exploration of Major League Baseball, by persevering and standing up to those who thought he didn't belong, Jackie Robinson became one of the most influential civil rights movement's leaders of all time, changing people's opinions on and off the field through his actions. In addition, the exchange of the way African Americans played the game fused with the existing game of white baseball to create the improved game that so many men, women, and children play today. Throughout this time, Jackie Robinson encountered racism and prejudice, which led to his becoming of a very influential figure in the civil rights movement. Jack Roosevelt Robinson was born on January 31st, 1919, in Cairo, Georgia. Jackie had 4 siblings, but his dad, Jerry Robinson, left the family when Jackie was very young, and his mom, Mally, was left to raise the 4 children on her own. They moved to Pasadena, California, where Jackie Robinson went on to John Muir Technical School and then on to UCLA, where he lettered in baseball, football, basketball, and track. Remarkably, baseball was his first sport. Because of lack of money, Jackie had to drop out of UCLA and he enlisted in the Army. While in the Army, Jackie encountered and fought racism. Jackie was not allowed onto the base's all-white baseball team, and he refused to join the football team because of that. Jackie encountered racism again when the Army tried to court-martial him for allegedly sitting next to a woman who was thought to be white. However, Jackie was able to successfully stand up for himself, and he ended up with an honorable discharge. After leaving the Army, he joined the all-black Kansas City Monarchs baseball club and played in the Negro League until he was encountered about joining Major League Baseball. At the time of Jackie Robinson's Major League debut, African Americans in the United States were subjected to prejudice and discrimination in all aspects of their lives. Racism was the norm, and this discriminatory treatment of black people was legalized by the Jim Crow laws that were in place at the time. Segregation was legal, and as a result, all African Americans were viewed and treated like they were inferior to whites. They had separate churches, separate restaurants, separate bathrooms, and more. Sports were segregated too. Jackie Robinson had been subjected to this mistreatment, and he thought that his exploration into Major League Baseball might help.
In any ballpark, there was always, except Brooklyn, where he was from, there was some hostility. He'd hear the fans. His wife would hear the fans.
When he was asked about being the first black player to sign a major league contract, Jackie said, "Maybe I'm doing something for my race." Jackie wasn't exactly welcomed with open arms when he entered the league. He encountered racial slurs being chanted at him, objects being thrown at him, death threats, and players of opposing teams walking off the field when he would walk on. And the St. Louis Cardinals even threatened to strike if they had to play against him. Jackie not only encountered verbal abuse and racism, but physical injury, and there was more than one time when Jackie was seriously injured by other players sliding into him with their cleats high that caused gashes in his leg and made him miss playing time. Even though there was awful discrimination, physical abuse, and hate towards Jackie, it didn't stop him from exploring the MLB and changing it forever. The exploration of allowing African Americans into Major League Baseball had a tremendous impact in all facets of the game. Style of play and acceptance of African Americans into baseball and society were impacted greatly by Jackie Robinson's introduction at the Major League level.
Jackie took black baseball to the Major Leagues. See, at the time, baseball was a base-to-base thing. You hit the ball, you wait on first base till somebody hit it again. See, but in our baseball, you got on base. If you walked, you stole second, you try to steal, they bunch you over to third, and you actually scored runs without a hit.
Baseball was emerging as a more exciting sport, and big hitters like George Sisler and Babe Ruth caused baseball to gain tremendous popularity, but they lacked speed or bunting ability. Then came Jackie Robinson with extraordinary athleticism and a fast, exciting style of play. In Jackie's 10 years in baseball, he had a whopping 197 stolen bases and batted an amazing .311. Jackie also fielded like a dream. Jackie's speed also allowed him to start the daring move of stealing home, and he did that 19 times in his career.
What his greatest play was of course, stealing home. That is one of the most impossible things to do.
Jackie had amazing speed, bunting ability, and hitting ability. and those abilities caused pitching to improve across the league and set a tone for the rest of the MLB in those areas. Lyrics from a song written by Buddy Johnson and Count Basie basically sums it up. Did you see Jackie Robinson hit that ball? It went zooming across the left field wall. Did he hit it? Yeah, and that ain't all. He stole home. All in all, baseball became a more exciting game when it encountered Jackie Robinson. Jackie once said, "The game has done so much for me, and I had done so much for it." This exchange between baseball and Jackie Robinson helped to promote the sport through Jackie's popular personality, hard work, and passion for the game. Not only did Robinson's influence reach MLB players, but it inspired younger players as well. If one looks at the game of younger baseball players, one will see a more technical game that requires skills like bunting and base stealing. This game of baseball evolved because of Jackie's influence on younger generations. The exchange of styles between black and white baseball have left the legacy of some of the most exciting parts of modern baseball.
Every time he got on base, you just felt like everybody else was nervous. So you felt like he was controlling the whole tempo of the game, and you knew he was going to steal second at some point, or you knew he would pretend to steal second at some point, and somehow all eyes were riveted toward him, so that when they were on the base path, you just somehow felt something was going to happen, some magic.
Home runs were a staple in white baseball, and when Jackie came into the league and exchanged the idea of small ball with home run ball, the two combined to create an exciting, big play home run game that had a strategic, small ball game side. This new ball had the best of both worlds, and it was exciting to play and watch. Jackie had so many honors and accomplishments within baseball, but what is less known is how his actions when he encountered racism helped to ignite the civil rights movement. By breaking the color barrier in Major League Baseball, Jackie Robinson helped to break those barriers of segregation that led to the civil rights movement 7 years later. When Jackie first began to explore segregated Major League Baseball, Americans grew to love and admire him through his exploration of baseball, and they also became more open to integration in all other aspects of American society. They started seeing that integration was the right thing to do, and in 1948, President Truman issued the executive order which helped to empower the civil rights movements by abolishing racial discrimination and desegregating the armed forces. Also, Plessy v. Ferguson, which upheld segregation, was finally overturned by Brown v. Board of Education of Topeka after so many years. Jackie Robinson, on his national stage, was the greatest ambassador for the expansion of civil rights through his grace and courage. He paved the way for other civil rights leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. actually told Don Newcombe, "You'll never know what you and Jackie and Roy did to make it possible for me to do my job."
Martin Luther King is obviously the great spiritual leader of the civil rights movement and the great leader, right? Mm-hmm. But it was Robinson who was the pioneer. 8 years before you would have even known the name Martin Luther King and Montgomery bus boycott in 55 and 47, you've got this black player.
Right.
He's the pioneer. And that's in the national pastime, right? That's
right.
And baseball's so big that's why this is not only baseball but sports and one of America's greatest moments.
Jackie marched for civil rights in Birmingham, Alabama. He wrote letters to many presidents on behalf of civil rights. After he retired from baseball, Jackie kept going with his work with civil rights leaders and politicians to help the civil rights cause. Civil rights leader Reverend Jesse Jackson spoke at Jackie's funeral about Jackie's impact on the civil rights movement. Reverend said, "He said yes in 1947, and pride in black community welled up when he took the field. He reminded us of our birthright to be free. He created ripples of possibility which 7 years later the Supreme Court decision confirmed." Jackie Robinson was truly a civil rights pioneer, as well as one of the most influential baseball players to ever play the game. Jackie's introduction to Major League Baseball and his success slowly broke down the racial barriers that were drawn before Plessy versus Ferguson. Also, this destruction of the color barrier happened 7 years before the beginning of the civil rights movement. Jackie took the abuse so that other black players like Don Newcombe and Larry Doby could have their path to Major League Baseball easier. By 1952, there are 150 African American players in professional baseball, thanks to Jackie's exploration into Major League Baseball. Jackie's personality and work ethic slowly but surely started a movement for more acceptance of minorities in America. A life is not important, except in the impact that it has on other lives. This was something that Robinson lived by, and his efforts to display these virtues made him one of the most influential people and baseball players of all time. Sadly, racism still exists in America, but it's diminishing partly in thanks to Jackie Robinson, the man who changed baseball forever.